we have a problem. And that problem is that prices are starting to rise once again. According to a top economist, he is saying that we are going to see inflation hit 4% very soon. But why? Well, it all has to do with some of Donald Trump's policies. I want to explain what's going on, but first, before I do, if you enjoy somewhat inexpensive fruits and vegetables, go ahead and hit that like button because this could be the end of that very soon. Now, let me show you this. It says Trump is deporting so many immigrants that it could cause inflation to hit 4% next year. This is according to a top economist. I want to read you that first, and then I want to show you another article, and then I want to back that up by what a friend of mine has just done. So I'll get to that in a moment. Look at this. It says President Donald Trump's new immigration policies include deporting. The White House claims about 750 immigrants a day on average. That right there, according to Moody's, is causing prices to go up. Look at this. This is Mark Zandi. He says if Trump continues deporting immigrants at the current rate, inflation will go from 2.5% to somewhere close to 4% by the time it hits its peak early next year. Zandi says his stark prediction is based on recent inflation data. Foreign-born labor force is declining and the overall labor force has gone flat since the beginning of the year, he added. That's causing tightening in a lot of markets, adding to costs and inflation. Okay, look at this though. Look at this article right here. This is actually just from today. It says, farmers warn beloved fruit may soon be out of reach for many consumers. Here's what you need to know. Well, there's a couple things. First off, it's a problem all over the place. Even in Ukraine, okay? Ukraine exports a lot of cherries. Well, that's a problem. Obviously, there's some issues happening in Ukraine. But why is this such a big deal? What is going on? Well, I want to read this to you. It says, what's happening? According to industry reports, the sweet cherry season in Ukraine ended a full week earlier this year than it did last year, with wholesale prices, okay, at 3.59 to 5.26 dollars a kilogram. It's 45% higher as orchard owners scraped the bottom of the barrel to deliver the last few cherries available. That was a combination of things. Obviously, the issue that's happening in Ukraine with this conflict with Russia, but also higher prices for fuel and things like that. But then we have obviously the weather. The weather's been a huge issue. So that's part of it. But I want to read you what a friend of mine told me. Okay, he told me this several weeks ago when cherry season was really in full effect. Okay, he says he went from paying $720 a week for workers. This was 40 hours a week, is $18 an hour. That's what he paid for a lot of people coming in from Mexico and the South. That's what he was paying them, $18 per hour. For many people, that's very good money, especially down in Mexico where you're making like $12 to $15 a day. It makes sense to come to the United States, make $720 a week, send the majority of that down to your family, and then you only do that for the summer. Well, what he was telling me is that some of these people, they had questionable documentation. Now, he did not go the whole route and look into everything. He just contacted this agency. They sent him workers, and that's who he hired. Okay, $720 a week. He had 8 workers. Here's where things get interesting, and this is why prices for cherries or for many fruits and vegetables are going up. He said he now is paying $1,000 per week for less qualified workers. Says the workers take 5 days to do the same work that used to take only 4 days, meaning he's paying 8 workers an additional day to do the exact same work. Guess what? They're picking cherries. Okay? They are picking cherries. He says his 8 workers, he now has to pay an additional $1,600 per week. That's just what it costs. Okay? Again, That's just the additional day. Okay, if we factor in the amount that he actually is paying them, let me pull that up really quick, kind of give you an idea here, right? Look at this right here. Okay, I want to show you this. So here's a little calculator. So he used to pay 8 workers times $18 an hour. Okay, then work 40 hours a week, right? That's what he pay him. $5,760. That was a week. Okay, so it's $5,760. Now let's do the math for the people that are making $25 an hour for each person. All right, so he has $25 an hour times 8 hours. Each one's making $200 a day. Okay, now times that by his 8 workers, that's $1,600. Times that by his 5 days, that's $8,000. Subtract the $5,760. He's paying an additional $2,240 a week. Okay, times that by 1 month, he's spending almost an additional $9,000. Okay, a month for these people that are, in his words, are less qualified. Guess what? They're pushing that price, that increase over to you. That's what's happening. And this is not just happening for cherries. This is happening for cherries and apples and pears. It's happening for watermelons and for cantaloupe. It's happening the same thing for oranges. We're seeing the same thing happening for lettuce. It's happening for carrots, cabbage, right? Everything is becoming more expensive. Guess what? Just wait until you have to pick your pumpkin up in the next month or two in September or October. When you're picking out your pumpkin, it's going to be more expensive per pound. I guarantee it, because it's becoming more expensive to plant, to maintain, and to pick. So just be prepared. Now, if you're seeing the prices at your store are just going up and up and up, this is kind of the reason why. There's a combination of weather, the cost of fertilizer, the cost of labor, being that the Trump administration is sending a lot of immigrants back to their home countries, which means they are not picking the fruit. They're not picking the vegetables. They're not maintaining the farms. And it's becoming an issue. So I want your take on this. What do you think? Do you think this is a good thing that we are now protecting our borders a little bit better? Or do you think this is a bad thing because right now millions of people can't afford the basic necessities, let alone overpriced fruits and vegetables? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.